Whipple Family Misadventures, Book 1, Welcome to the Parent of an Alien Hedgehog Club, Chapter 2. The next morning, Wade woke up with a start. It was no longer snowing outside, but the house was still quite cold. The stove must have burned itself out in the middle of the night. It was quiet, but he suddenly felt anxious. He knew nothing about that kid, except that he was one powerful little hedgehog, and Wade had brought him into his home and then gone to bed for several hours. Everything the hedgehog had said could have been a lie. The entire fearfulness and skittishness could have been an act. Hopefully not, but he would have to be careful. Leaving his bedroom, Wade crept toward the living room. On his way, he flipped on the heater. He obviously had one. It was just cheaper to use a wood-burning stone. Except for mornings like this. He'd get a fire going later. Reaching the living room, he stopped dead. The spot where he had left Silver on the couch was empty. His coat and the blanket were gone as well. A quick glance around revealed nothing. Wade stared for several moments, breathing deeply, trying to ward off the anxiety building in his chest. This didn't mean anything. It definitely did not mean the hedgehog was hiding somewhere, planning to jump out at any moment and fling him through the wall with those glow powers. Or worse, the kid had stolen everything and ran. A quick check showed the doors were still locked. While it was possible, Silver had found another way to exit the house. The door seemed like the most logical. Wade was starting to become worried and was headed for the phone when he suddenly found him. Silver had dragged the blankets and coat under a desk, wedged into the corner of the living room, made himself a little nest under there. The little gray hedgehog was curled up in a small ball, only the tops of his quills sticking out. Apparently, still asleep. Wade frowned down at him, thought about waking him, then changed his mind before he picked up his cell phone and went back to his bedroom to make a call.
Hello?
Hi, Tom. Last night, while I was on a shift, something happened. Not something bad. I mean, it is kinda important, but I didn't want to wake you because it was late.
Wade, is everything all right?
Yes, I'm fine. But you know how you found Sonic.
Yeah.
Well, I found one of his friends last night.
There was silence on the line.
What? Are you serious?
Barry, I have a gray hedgehog asleep in my living room right now.
He heard Tom take a deep breath.
I want to see this.
Great, don't bring Sonic yet. He's kinda timid and a little shaken up at being here on a new planet. I don't think a bunch of people coming would be good for him.
Fine. I'll be there in 10.
10 minutes.
Wade thought as he hung up the phone. Enough time to wake up his guest and explain the situation. After getting dressed and tossing a few logs into the stove to get a fire going first, a few minutes later, Wade returned to the desk, noticing Silver was exactly where he had been 5 minutes ago. Deciding that this news would go down best with food, he fetched a banana from the kitchen and then sat down on the floor. He had no idea how Silver would take to being woken up suddenly, but with those powers of his, Wade didn't want to find out.
Hey kid, did you sleep all right?
He whispered, tapping his fingers against the desk. When there was no response, he did it again, louder, then louder still.
Silver.
1 minute, Silver was curled in a ball. The next he was on his feet, scrambling backwards, hands glowing.
Oh, hey, take it easy, just me. Sorry. I thought you might be hungry.
He held out the banana, a peace offering. There was something about how skittish this kid was being was a bit worrying. There was startled awake and then waking up expecting something to rip you to shreds. And while suddenly landing on an alien planet where everyone was more than twice your height was terrifying to say the least, it did not explain that reaction.
Are you okay?
Silver quickly nodded.
I'm really thirsty. I'm gonna go find some water first.
Find water? You know I have some in the kitchen, right?
You do?
Yes.
Wade headed into the kitchen, aware of the gray hedgehog right on his heels. He took out a clean mug and held it under the tap. The gasp behind him was audible. Silver's expression was dumbfounded as he carefully took the mug, peering into it like he couldn't believe his eyes.
How did you?
He drained it in several quick gulps.
How did you get such clean water?
Everyone has access to it.
Suddenly, several pieces tumbled into place as Wade's mind caught up with him.
You don't have clean water?
Taking the mug back, he refilled it and watched as Silver started to gulp again.
Easy. You're going to make yourself sick.
The doorbell rang and Silver jumped, his hands flaring back to life again. In the moment, He had completely forgotten to tell him that Tom was coming.
Hey, easy. It's okay. It's all right. That just means someone's at the door. I asked a friend of mine to come over. We're fine.
Striding back into the living room, Wade opened the door.
Hey,
Hi.
Already dressed in his uniform for the day, coffee in hand, Tom took a step inside. Already he looked like business. That alone was comforting.
well, Tom, he's...
Wade started gesturing behind him, only to realize the space was empty.
Well, he was right there.
What happened?
Sitting down, Wade let out a sigh.
I saw a car floating in the street. Went to check it out. Found a gray hedgehog. His name is Silver. He's pretty skittish. Although he has some wicked mind powers, he can move stuff with his mind. His hands glow when he does. He told me what it was, but I don't remember what it's called. He also held me in place with it. I couldn't move at all.
How did he get here? Those ring portals.
I didn't get around to asking him. He's not that talkative.
Tom glanced over Wade's shoulder, a gentle smile lighting him up.
Hey, buddy.
Turning, Wade saw him as well, watching the two of them from the hallway. Slightly surprised and a bit impressed, he hadn't heard a thing. Was this natural or was he just being sneaky?
Silver, this is my friend, Tom. You can come over here if you want. He won't hurt you.
The curiosity got the better of him. Silver slowly padded toward them. He still had a wary expression, but no longer looked quite so frightened. Tom took out his phone and messed with it for a moment, then held it out for the hedgehog to see.
I bet this is pretty scary being here with all us aliens. But you're not the only hedgehog on Earth. This is Sonic. He lives with me and my wife. We found him last summer.
From where he was sitting, Wade watched as Silver studied the picture.
He lives in that box? Why?
That made Tom chuckle.
No, this is a picture of him. He's at my house right now. Or maybe he already left with Maddie. But I'm sure he'd love to meet you. It's hard being the only hedgehog around humans.
When Silver didn't say anything, Wade rushed to fill the silence.
He has powers too, like you.
Can you fly?
No, he runs fast. So fast. You only see a blur sometimes. I think he would like to meet you, if you want.
Tom said, taking his phone back and returning it to his pocket. Silver barely considered this.
No.
He said, turning and leaving. Wade noticed he wasn't using his abilities to float while Tom was around. The two of them watched the gray hedgehog disappear down the hallway.
I see what you mean. Not very talkative. Has someone heard him?
Wade could only shrug.
I'm not sure. I don't know what to do with him.
He's not a pet.
I know that. He's a kid. An alien kid with strange powers who just dropped into my life.
Powers or not, kids have the same needs. Food, water, sleep, and attention. But the powers do add a fun twist.
Exactly. I don't even know how to deal with human kids, let alone alien kids.
They're pretty similar besides. Even if he was a human child, you wouldn't get a manual on how to take care of one. Most people don't know what they're doing. It seems to be trial and error for everyone.
I don't know if I want to do this. I have no experience with kids. I don't have siblings or younger cousins or anything. I know literally nothing, especially with this happening so suddenly. And like this, I'm not even sure if I want kids, no.
That's understandable. But also, what are you going to do with him then?
This was the hard part. The part where he admitted he hoped Tom would take him. He had experience in the alien hedgehog department. He knew what he was doing.
I don't know. Any chances Sonic wants an adopted brother?
Silver doesn't even want to meet him at the moment. I don't think trying to heist him off on us would be the answer. Besides, Maddie would kill me. But if this really doesn't work out, I guess I can help you figure something out.
That last part alone was enough to make Wade want to curl into a ball with panic, but he managed to nod weakly.
But in the meantime, you got this, bro. Just think about what if you were in his shoes. How scared and confused you would be. Then treat him the way you'd want to be treated if this was happening to you. And always remember, you're the adult and he's the kid.
Tom gave a charming little wave before heading for the door.
See you at work.
Wade only sighed and reminded himself to breathe. He would get through this. It would be okay. The first thing he would need to do is figure out what to do with Silver when he went to work. He still had a few hours, as he was doing the night shift, but still, would it be okay to leave him here, or was that asking for trouble? Also, Wade absolutely had to go grocery shopping, and he had to do it today before his shift. Lol. But first, should probably find the kid. 10 minutes later, he found no hedgehog, and Wade wanted to scream with frustration. How is this kid so good at hiding and moving around so quietly? But then again, with how small he was, there was tons of places he could hide in, if he wanted to, and just Wade's luck. He had never been good at hide and seek, lol. He was just about to start begging out loud for Silver to please come out, because he was getting really worried when he saw a flash of blue outside the window. So far, he hadn't thought of checking outside yet. Opening the door, Wade found him hovering in the backyard, high above the ground, up near one of the evergreen trees that towered over the house. As a kid, Wade has spent hours climbing that thing, until his mom yelled for him to come down before he fell and broke his neck.
What are you doing?
Silver looked down, his eyes shining.
Look!
In one hand, he had a grip on one of the heavy branches and tugged at it, making some of the snow fall down to the ground.
Look at this!
Yeah, it's nice. Come down.
Wade said, covering his head as snow plopped down. Obediently, Silver floated down, landing with a little bump. He was still hold a small part of a branch.
I've never seen anything like this before.
Snow? You saw it last night.
No,
Silver waved his branch in the air before pointing up.
this, and that, and the sky.
Looking up, Wade could only see the tree and the partly cloudy sky, bits of blue poking through the clouds. Quickly, he scanned the area, hoping to see something else that would make this conversation make more sense.
I'm going to be honest. I'm not quite sure what you're talking about.
That thing.
Silver's voice became soft. With that, Wade realized this was the first time he had seen him excited about something. Not being scared or worried, but actually excited.
It's so big and it's green, and the sky is not dark or gray anymore. There's blue.
Slowly, things started to make sense.
You've never seen a tree before, or a blue sky.
Never. I like it.
Wade tried not to cringe at what that could mean, and instead moved on.
Well, you'll like it even more plants around here. They're just hidden right now by all this snow. It will be gone in a few months, though. Hopefully.
Really?
Yeah, my mom used to have flower beds near the house fixed up, but they've gone wild by now. You'll see. It usually starts melting around April, Lowell.
My birthday's in April.
That's nice. You want to go inside? It's cold out here.
When he got an agreement, he headed back in the direction of the back door.
So, how old are you?
10, but I'll be older soon. How old are you?
Silver answered, floating along beside him.
38. So, on your planet, are your parents worried about you? Wondering where you went?
The gray hedgehog shrugged, twirling his branch around.
I don't know. Probably not. I never really met them. I think they died or ran away or something when I was a baby.
Wade blinked.
How did you survive? Also, leave that outside.
He started to pout, but Silver dropped his branch before coming in.
When I was a kid?
It took all of Wade's self-control to correct him, to say you still are a kid.
Well, yeah. Unless babies on your planet can survive alone.
No. There was this lady I knew when I was really little. She was a panda. I was with her for a while. She was nice and took care of me. She showed me how to hunt and where to find water and everything. I can show you if you want. I'm really good at it.
I'm fine.
Silver shrugged. Like suit yourself, then dropped to the floor to walk.
One day she left. That wasn't uncommon. She'd do that a lot and I'd wait for her to come back. Except she didn't. I waited for days. But finally, I had to leave because there was no food or water left. But then I got lost and I couldn't find my way back.
His ears drooped, and he hugged both arms to his chest.
I never saw her again. I hope she's okay and didn't die.
And you've been alone ever since.
No, for a little while I was with some other kids, some bigger than me, some smaller. As long as I helped out, they let me stay. But then I learned I had my powers, and the other kids didn't like it. It scared them, and they made me leave. I've been on my own since then.
Silver glanced up.
Did your friend Tom only come over because of me?
Well, kind of. We're not really sure what to do with you and him.
He had been about to say Tom and Maddie also had a hedgehog, but that made Sonic sound closer to a pet, and not a child.
Since he's Sonic's guardian.
He didn't know if Dad was the right word or not yet.
I wanted to ask what he thought.
And what does he think?
That no matter what happens, we'll make sure you're taken care of. I think he also wants Sonic to have another non-human friend. But if you really don't want to see him, that's fine, I guess.
He's really another hedgehog? It's not a prank or a joke, is it?
Really. I've seen him myself with my own eyes.
Okay, I guess then another hedgehog. But he's got human parents?
Yeah.
Where are your parents?
Well, I'm an adult, so I don't live with my parents anymore. But I haven't seen my father since I was a kid, and my mom is in a nursing home. This is her house, actually. It's my house now.
What's a nursing home?
A place for old people to get specialized care. She has something called Alzheimer's and dementia. It affects her memory, but she doesn't remember that. And it could be dangerous. So she needs special care, and it's not one that I know how to give or have the time to do for her. So this place does it instead. I visit her, but it's hard because of the Alzheimer's and dementia. She doesn't know who I am.
Wade admitted something he had never told another person. Strangely, now that he was talking about it, it didn't feel so strange to be telling an alien kid this.
But she's your mom.
Yes, she is, but like I said, these diseases affect her memory. She remembers that she has a son, and sometimes she remembers that she's seen me before. But all the memories she has are of me as a kid, your age or younger. She doesn't remember me as an adult.
That's sad.
Yeah, it is.